Välkommen till programmet Tro Under som vi sänder från Mediemission International som vanligt 9:30 på fredagskvällar. Ikväll så ska vi prata om Nepal och jag tror inte att det har undgått någon i hela Sverige det som har hänt i Nepal, den fruktansvärda katastrof med jordbävning. Och vi kommer att prata lite om det eftersom vi i vårt arbete, för ett tag sedan hade vi en missionssatsning, en storstadskampanj i Kathmandu. Och vi ska prata lite om det. Och med oss i studion ikväll så har jag Talja. Jag är the Vice President in Mediemission International, IRR-TV in Finland. Och så har vi Marko Tennonen, informationschef. Innan vi börjar att prata om Nepal så Marko, vi har sagt i många program att vårt arbete det är ett arbete vi gör tillsammans.
Ja, det är sant.
Och jag tänkte att vi vill ju alltid på något sätt visa och säga det, för vi kan inte nog tacka våra svenska givare och de som står bakom oss. Och du som informationschef, du är den så att säga som står för informationen, som är ansvarig. Jag vet att du har någonting på ditt hjärta du verkligen skulle vilja säga till oss i Sverige.
Ja, för det första så vill jag tacka alla som har svarat på utmaningen som vi har gett när det gäller Nepal. Och även andra satsningar. Alla kommer ihåg från föregående program när vi har talat om biblar, böcker och storstadsmissionen runt om i världen. Vi har fått en oerhört bra gensvar från Sverige. Och som jag sa i förra programmet också, vi är så tacksamma här i huset för det. Att de enskilda runt om i Sverige har bett och de har också givit pengar till missionen som är gemensam. Det är inte det att man ger till Mediemission som organisation, utan egentligen ger man till Gud och till det uppgift och uppdrag som Gud har givit till församlingen, till oss. Så vi är så tacksamma. Jag tror att vi har mycket att hämta tillsammans när det gäller missionen världen över, men speciellt just i det här programmet när det gäller Nepal. Och vi startade även i Finland en insamling för nepalesiska människor och vi har kunnat få rätt så bra gensvar, även om Röda Korset och andra motsvarande organisationer i vårt land har också startat insamlingen. Och vi har kunnat redan nu leverera en del av medel som har kommit in i huset till Nepal, och Talja vet mer om det.
Ja, vi är så tacksamma över det som vi upplever just nu, för att vi har haft ett bra år 2014 och 2015 tror jag kommer att bli minst lika bra. Då tänker jag inte bara på ekonomin, utan jag tänker på människor som förstår mer och mer om vårt arbete, hur vi tänker, vad vi har gjort och framförallt det vi brinner för. För vi vill verkligen att alla människor, det är egentligen bara resurserna som sätter gränserna för hur mycket vi kan göra. But tonight we're also focusing on Nepal because about this horrible, devastating earthquake in Nepal, and you, Ari, you're responsible internationally crusades we have and city missions and our mission work. And I know that you have some very deep information and facts about Nepal, because we had a city mission there for some time ago. And in Kathmandu Valley.
Yeah, actually we have had 3 campaigns in Nepal so far. 2011 we had first campaign in Kathmandu Valley, exactly the spot that the earthquake have devastatedly destroyed whole villages, and so many millions of people have been exposed to that earthquake. But before that, by the grace of God and the direction of the Holy Spirit, we were able to carry on this kind of campaign, having all accessible media for 30 days to preach about power to change by Jesus Christ to the most Hindu country of the whole world called Nepal. And it just didn't cover 5 million people living in the valley of Kathmandu, but it also reached out the whole nation of Nepal, because we had access to Nepal YLE, which is the nation TV in Nepal. And we had the best transformation stories about former Maoist terrorists who were transformed by the power of God, who are now preaching the gospel. And through that story, we got access night after night for a new episode, up to 24 episodes for 30 million people in Nepal. And after that, we have received so many responses. We have heard that some of the churches who have accessed new people, who have get new people today, their meetings, they have now tripled or even got 10 times bigger than they used to be.
Oh, wow.
So before these horrible events, there was time for grace to the nation of Nepal.
It was a very successful city mission, you can say so?
Absolutely. We got 40,000 responses throughout whole Nepal. Actually, those were only the book orders. Some of the people came even from the border of India because they saw those TV programs. They couldn't call to toll-free number from India, so they got to the other side of the border and they called and they got their own book. And those booklets have been circulated around from one person to another who have experienced power to change, because in each item there is tremendous power of God. Yeah. It's a kind of direction how you can really experience power to change in Jesus.
Jag skulle vilja säga så här att när Ali nämnde att vi fick så mycket respons, det är egentligen församlingarna som fick det. Inte bara vi, utan det är församlingarna och kyrkorna i Nepal. Så det är ett värde att man får kontakt med människorna.
That's the way we work. We always connected with the local churches, and the local churches, they work continuously with this city mission when we have stopped it and finished it. But now this horrible, devastating earthquake, it has taken my heart, because we have seen clips and videos and news from Nepal, and I mean, a word cannot describe. I have not been there, so I have not seen this devastating earthquake, but I mean, this has taken our hearts. And also in our mission work, we have contacts and we work with HELP. And another, what can you say about the situation right now? Our contacts there, and what kind of information do you have from Nepal?
Actually, when we had this campaign in 2011, we have 400 churches involved in that city campaign. And now the biggest and the leading church group denomination was Pentecostal movement called Assemblies of God. And we have the Bishop Samuel Bomson, who himself and his team has accessed already about 60 village communities all around these devastated areas by the earthquakes. And they have sent the relief help like oil and rice, lentils, and different kind of covering. They have even helped rebuilding some temporary sheets in order that people would not expose to that heavy rain that is about to hit Nepal in a day or two now. So we have been able to deliver the help exactly through the networks of these churches, because churches have access to all these villages. Even there have been landslides and some of the roads have been destroyed, but they are very creative to find ways how to reach out with that help, because they have heart to help. And also we have been reported that about 3,000 people, Christians alone, have died so far. And we have been reported about total casualties, about 12,000 so far, but still there are remote areas that you haven't accessed fully, and injured people about 20,000, and 600,000 homes have been devastated totally. So some estimates say that about 10 million out of 30 million total population have been exposed one way or the other by this earthquake. So it has been very horrible. And it was not just one earthquake. We heard about numerous aftershocks, even 70 aftershocks during the first day. Even up to this date, there are still some minor, like 5.1 magnitude in Richter scale. So it's horrible. There is total change in, there are fundamental changes taking place in the ground of Nepal at the moment, and people are very scared. They don't have courage to sleep inside the homes, so that's why they are sleeping on yards, and they don't know about future. Even Christians are not courage to go inside the church buildings, because they don't know when the next aftershock will come and collapse them.
Of course, yeah. Marco, when you hear about this, what Ari is telling us, I mean, this has taken our hearts, and we in Sweden, in our work, I mean, together with other organizations, of course, but we in Media Mission International, we also want to help this nation. How can we do that?
Jo, jag skulle säga så här att man kan ge sin gåva via webbsidan. Man kan gå dit och titta på kontonummer. Man kan även ringa eller kontakta via e-mail och bli medlem i den här stora utmaningen som vi har världen över. Det här är ju en gemensam projekt. Och som jag nämnde förut här så har vi startat i Finland en samling och vi har redan nu kunnat leverera en del av pengarna till Nepal. Jag vill minnas att det var 9500 dollar som gick till Nepal nyligen. Så att med dessa pengar kan kyrkorna där på plats köpa medel till behövande människor. Och jag tror att det är viktigt att vi kan använda just det här nätverket som vi har, eftersom det finns en viss korruption också i landet, har jag hört. Så att jag tror att alla svenskar som vill vara med kontakta oss och titta på kontonumret och ge en summa så går det till Nepal säkert.
Kontonumret som kanske du som är van att se på programmet redan vet är 900307-0. 900307-0. Märk Nepal. Ari, we have always connected with local churches. We have a network. Your reports from the pastors and the leaders. What do you say about the future? I mean, this is a huge challenge. What's happening? When we hear, in a spiritual way, about the future, do they have hope for the future?
Actually, at the moment, this is a chance of the lifetime to preach about the gospel and the hope in Jesus Christ, because people are very much exposed to what's there. They are not satisfied with Hinduism, with a couple of million of different gods who are no true gods. At the moment, they are seeking the real answers. Is there anything permanent we can rely on? And that's why some of the churches have really took advantage. They have this relief and they provide help to these devastated villages, but they have T-shirts about Jesus Christ and they share the gospel at the same time. So they utilize the relief work as a channel to preach the gospel to those who don't know Jesus yet. So it's at the same time wonderful opportunity to share positive transformation. Even some Christians have experienced casualties. We don't have all the answers. We don't know why God allowed during the church meetings happen that first very horrific earthquake. But nevertheless, churches are recovering there. Of course, church leaders are expecting about 4 years at least the period of reconstruction, because it takes a long time to get all these buildings back. And they are raising funds for that, and luckily there are many international people who are willing to help this one of the most poor country of the whole earth. They really don't have their own finances to rebuild their nation.
Of course, we always asking, we who believe in God and experienced Him in our life, we always asking God, why do you allow this to happen?
Right.
And I think it's very important to say to people and just to declare that we don't have the answers. We don't have the answers. So I have no answers because we're living in the same circumstances like everybody else, but things happen and one day we will receive the answers.
Right.
But it's devastating and to see these people hurting so much, because this is, as you said, one of the most poorest country in the whole world.
Exactly.
And the building, the structure and everything is so, if you compare to Scandinavia, I mean, it's the buildings are so weak and in the structuring, the houses and buildings, so they fall apart very quickly.
Actually, this Bishop Bamson himself is trained as architect in engineering.
Okay.
He's teaching in university how the buildings really should be built. But actually the problem is that people are so poor, they don't have funds to do the proper caution measures in order to build strong houses that are safeguarded against earthquakes. So the reason is that nobody has access to the funds, and they have some knowledge there, but because the whole government and the whole community is in chaos all the time. Even without this earthquake, if you have been in Nepal, I've been 20 times, it's like you would travel on the 1950s in Finland. Oh, you have to go even further than that. They don't have proper street lights, they don't have proper concrete roads, they don't have proper electricity connections and so forth. I could go on so many dangers already in everyday life. Yeah. If you combine all these earthquake devastations in that, you can imagine what kind of chaos they are living in at the moment.
I think I can't imagine it. I've not been there, but I understand it's a devastating, hard. But Marco, when we hear this, and I mean, the church is falling apart there, and I don't know, has any pastors also missed the church members and so, you know, have some...
Yeah, 3,000 Christians?
Actually, in total, 3,000 Christians have lost their lives as a result of it. Yeah. And even 200 church buildings have been totally destroyed. Yeah. 200. That's the report I got last weekend from one of the pastors called Mukundam Sharma, who is in Nepal Assemblies of God. He has his own church, and they are doing also their relief work and asking funds from us. Yeah. And we have already existing channels, but nevertheless, we get very valuable reports. I have a number of other people who are reporting from different parts because they don't go to the same areas. No. That's why I get pretty good picture from different sources.
Yeah. So we can say that the city mission we had some years ago, before this earthquake, was in, you can say so, in a prophetic time.
Yes.
So we have seen people get saved before the earthquake, but there is a day after this earthquake also. Mm-hmm. Maybe it's time, sometimes in the future, for us again to have a city mission there.
Absolutely.
What do you think?
I would say, and also I didn't mention already that we had already campaign in Pokhara, which is the second largest city of Nepal, and actually the epicenter of the whole earthquake took place between these two cities, Kathmandu and Pokhara, 80 kilometers. So we didn't know anything about what's going to happen in a couple of years before we done this. So Holy Spirit went ahead, preached the gospel to those people. We don't know how many of these casualties have had already chance to know Jesus Christ before they actually got dead through this horrible accident. I might say that there are many people in heaven at the moment who received the gospel through this campaign. So it's so valuable to seize the moment that God is giving to us. We never know what's happening tomorrow, and we need to go in the direction of Holy Spirit in head when we are planning these campaigns, because at the moment we have about 30 invitations from different nations of the world, and we don't know exactly what will be the timeline of the Lord. So we have to pray, we have to ask His guidance in this.
We can say, Marco, that in our work it's so important to go in the footstep of the Holy Spirit.
Ja, det kan vi säga. Det måste vi säga. Det är ju enda möjligheten för församlingen och kristna att vi följer den helige Ande och även den utmaningen som Jesus gav till församlingen och kyrkan. Det är enda möjligheten.
I mean, för att we can say that our mission is to see people get saved. So everything else we used, every tools we use in the social media and TV, radio and billboards and literature and Bibles and printing house, everything is about people.
Exactly.
It's about people.
Yes.
People's eternity. So when I think about that and think about Nepal right now, I have many questions to God. But also I see challenges and possibilities right now, as you said. So Marco, when we see the future, what do you think is the most important thing for not only us, but all kind of organization? When we see in Nepal, how would we see this country right now? Out of our eyes, how should we see the country right now? Is this a burden for us? Or is it a challenge, or is it a possibility? And what can we do? I mean, this is a big questions for me.
Jag skulle vilja säga så här att det är allt vad du sa. Alltså det är en utmaning, det är en möjlighet och så vidare. Alltså det finns många utmaningar där, det vet vi ju alla. Men att jag skulle vilja säga så här att det är en möjlighet i positiv tänkande, om man säger så här. Det är en möjlighet för församlingarna att vakna till. Jag tror att vi är allt för mycket inåttänkande i våra kyrkor och församlingar idag. Vi måste öppna våra ögon och se världens nöd. Och nu har vi ju via median möjlighet att följa upp vad som händer världen över. Och speciellt nu i Nepal. Om vi inte nu tar vårt arbete på allvar och det uppgift som Jesus har gett för församlingen, då kan vår välsignelse i våra kyrkor och församlingar gå förbi. Så jag tror att vi skulle kunna göra vad vi skulle kunna göra i våra församlingar i Finland och Sverige, Norge kanske. Ta en extra offer till Nepal i varje kyrka. Ta en extra offer, kanske varje söndag en hel månad. En sån andrahandsoffer. För det finns vilja hos folk att hjälpa. Så att jag tror att Gud välsignar den församlingen, den kyrkan som ger ut av det vad vi har fått själva. Så att jag ser här en möjlighet och en utmaning av Gud. Vad gör vi åt dessa lidande människor?
Ja, för att det var som... det är ju en sak som vi inte bestämmer över, du och jag. Det är var någonstans vi är födda.
Ja, det är sant. Det är sant.
Och jag tänker ofta på det. Det är ju våra bröder och systrar. Det är våra vänner i Nepal. Oavsett om de har en tro på Gud eller de inte tror på Gud. Så Gud älskar alla människor. Och det skulle lika gärna kunna vara du och jag. Eftersom vi inte bestämmer var vi är födda. Så jag håller med dig, Marco. Väldigt fint. Bra tanke där. Att stänger vi och inte är generösa, då kanske välsignelsen inte kan flöda i fullt mått åtminstone.
Det är sant.
Det är viktigt. Så att generositet är någonting som finns i vårt arbete. Generositet, att hela tiden ge ut.
Ja, det är sant.
To live a generous life, Ari, that's the most important thing.
Absolutely.
I mean, from the first chapter in our Bible, in the Old Testament, to the last chapter in the book of Revelation, there is a red threat, and that's generosity.
Right.
God gave His Son, and His Son gave His Holy Spirit, and the Holy Spirit is in us, and we will give our lives to other people.
Yeah.
To live in generosity.
Right.
So, and also our mission work is breathing generosity, is my opinion. I think we feel that. We want to help people spiritually and humanitarian work. Let's go hand by hand, actually. So, Ari, so what you say in this program about Nepal is that it's devastating, but there is hope.
There is absolutely hope, and we are still going on one project. Even our campaign manager, who used to be campaign manager in this Kathmandu campaign, is now living on the yard, just in front of his home building, because it's totally devastated. He cannot go there. So he's planning to reach out to another nation, other people called 65 million people. They are called Maithili. This is one of the least outreached nation or people, and they are living both sides of the border of Nepal, northern part of Nepal and also Indian part of Nepal. They are a kind of border people who are outcasts. They are not generated into the general Nepalese, and that's why they have not been reached out. And we have a project called Superbook, which is the 52 best Bible stories. In cartoon form. We have dubbed that series, half of it already in Maithili, and in next couple of months, if God gives us allowance, we will telecast that and put that onto the TV there and try to reach out that one of the least outreached nation or people by the gospel of Jesus Christ. So this is a great opportunity. We don't stop here.
No.
This is just one checkpoint. Are we serious with God? Do we really want to go on the whole mile with Him?
So we can say that what's happening right now, we have some questions, I have some questions, but we're looking forward, and there's hope in Christ. I mean, in ourselves we are nothing, but Christ, we have it all.
Yes, I fully agree.
So the time is running away very fast, and Talia, thank you for coming to this program. I know you're a very busy man. Marco Tennonen, tack för att du var med. Du är också en mycket upptagen man. Så vi är så privilegierade i Sverige att ni är här för att ni sitter inne med fakta. Och för mig så är det viktigt med fakta. Det här är ett promotionprogram i vårt missionsarbete. Det här är inget predikande program där vi har bibelstudier eller det, utan det här är ett promotionprogram. Och det är viktigt att komma ihåg att det är där det ska vara. Och i vårt arbete så är det ju så här att det är ett tillsammansarbete. Marco Tenner har nämnt det flera gånger och han har sagt det till oss ikväll igen. Att ensamma klarar vi inte av det här, utan det är ett tillsammansarbete. Våran tidning, den kan se ut så här. Det gjorde den i februari i år. Och den kan du beställa på mediemission.se. Du kan mejla till oss info@mediemission.se och 90-kontot är 900307-0 900307-0. All information du behöver finns på hemsidan. Emellan tidningen så kommer det ut nyhetsblad med information som berör just vad som händer just då när bladet kommer. Det är lite kortare version, men tidningen får du regelbundet också. Den är tjockare, mycket bilder, information. Vill du ha den här lilla boxen som vi har presenterat tidigare, så kan du beställa den, ta kontakt med oss via hemsidan. Och det är en DVD som kommer ligga i här, information om vårt arbete. Och sen, vet inte om du kan se det här i tvn, men det är information på bägge sidor, en världskarta på genomförda storstadskampanjer vi har haft över hela världen och sådana som ligger i pipeline. Och vi kommer beröra det i kommande program, nya storstadskampanjer. Så Ari och Marco, tack för att ni kom ikväll.
Tack själv, Morgan. Tack.
Och vi vill önska dig som tittar Guds rika välsignelse och så hoppas vi får se dig igen. Tack så mycket.